This is the Balancing Act by Security Compass, your guide to going fast while staying safe in today's digital world. Today we are joined by Altaz Valani from Security Compass and Jeff Sorrell, a data privacy and information security consultant. We will discuss, at a high level, the importance of Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification, CMMC, and its operational impact on companies that have contracts with the U.S. Department of Defense. We dive into some of the nuances of CMMC as it advocates moving away from self-attestation to third-party audit and certification. To conclude this discussion, Jeff will share thoughts on any trends based on his own experience.
Hello, everybody, and welcome today to our podcast. Our guest with us today is Jeff Sorrell. Jeff, welcome.
Yes, hi, Altaz. It's a pleasure to join you.
Wonderful. Jeff, why don't you tell our audience a bit about yourself?
My name is Jeff Sorrell, and I've worked in various capacities in IT for the past 20 plus years in information security, data privacy, data protection, business continuity, and assessment.
Wonderful. That's great, Jeff. So just diving right into this, we're going to talk about CMMC today, and it's a big topic. There's a lot of interest in this. So just right off the bat, auditability and trust is a big topic in CMMC. Can you talk to us a little bit more about this?
Sure. Yeah, so CMMC came about because it was a requirement that the Defense Department wanted to ensure that its suppliers, and there were over 300,000 of them, are able to meet the appropriate level of cybersecurity hygiene. That is to say that organizations that do business with the military have to ensure that they have certain standards of IT security to ensure data confidentiality.
That's interesting. Now, those are pretty big topics. How can an organization that's thinking of complying with CMMC, how do they operationalize something like this?
What's important is for an organization to take a look at the cybersecurity maturity model standards and to ensure that they're meeting the appropriate level of IT security depending upon the tier of the controlled unclassified information that they're responsible for. So typically what an organization is going to need to do is ensure that it's meeting those domains of IT security controls. Let's say asset management, access control, let's say data protection, data retention, things like of that nature. What they have to do is ensure that their IT security policies, processes, and procedures were well documented, and that they're able to demonstrate that they're actually adhering to those particular security control domain requirements. This when an auditor calls upon the organization to independently verify that those IT security controls are indeed in place and working and that they're operationalized, they're going to ensure that they have comprehensive compliance with CMMC.
So Jeff, for a while now, we've had stuff from ISO, we've had stuff from NIST. What makes CMMC different when we talk about operationalizing? Do we have to gut out the stuff we've done in the past? Is this something that we need to focus on auditability now, traceability, assurance? What's unique about CMMC that we haven't seen before?
Again, the key with CMMC is no longer can an organization do self-assessment or self-attestation. It requires a third-party audit for validation. So that's really crucial. So it's more rigorous because a third party is going to be taking a look at the evidence and to see whether or not there's any type of finding gap and determine whether or not you are indeed at the cybersecurity maturity level that you're claiming that you are. So in the past with DFARS, you'd have adherence to the National Institute of Standards Technology 800-171 for compliance, which is again an array of different security control domains, and you would do your assessment against that. With CMMC, it not only is portions of NIST 800-171, but it also has other control requirements in there in the families of 853, Cybersecurity Framework, perhaps ISO 27001 and others, depending upon just how tight the security needs to be for the higher tiers. And there are 5 tiers, tier 1 through tier 5. from very low all the way to very high degrees of security being implemented.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. And as we consider the broad spectrum of CMMC and the various tiers and what's gone into the auditability component of this, what do you see as some of the challenges around CMMC certification?
The fact that an organization is going to have a third party that's going to be examining their security posture is very challenging, because relying on self-assessment, sometimes that can cause a normalcy bias in an organization where everyone usually truly believes and earnestly believes that they're secure, but they don't see the gap because they're within the organization. So a third-party assessor that has been approved by the CMMC accreditation board, they're going to come in and take a look at things with professional skepticism to ensure that things are indeed the way they are. So that's a challenge for all the organizations that have been relying on self-assessment. And the other imperative would be to ensure that if you're going to do business with the Department of Defense, you have to meet that level of cybersecurity maturity, be it level 1 through level 5. So that will be a challenge to organizations, because they're going to have to fix whatever deficiency is found.
Yeah, the discussions that I've been having within the industry and within government as well is really starting to steer towards assurance models. And I see this as being a part of that. Can we provide an assurance within the supply chain that we are in fact secure? But I want to open this up, Jeff, to get your thoughts as well. Where do you think we're headed with CMMC? Is this the first of many? Is this a trend that you're seeing? From your perspective, what are your thoughts?
I believe it's a trend. It's starting off with the Department of Defense, where again, one of the imperative concerns would be national security and ensuring that all the vendors that have sensitive technical information, for instance, are not going to allow unintentional exfiltration of that data. But there is talk that if CMMC goes well for the Department of Defense, there's no reason to believe that it won't be rolled out across Homeland Security, for instance, and other agencies that also have sensitive information. So it's quite likely, at least in the US, that this type of model is going to become more pervasive in the future and not just be limited for the Department of Defense. And we're probably going to see something like this adopted for high-tech industry, for large enterprise security and privacy to ensure trust. So I'd have to say that you're going to see a lot more of this, in my opinion.
Wonderful. Jeff, thank you very much for your time today. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Can't get enough of the balancing act? Make sure to check out our website at www.securitycompass.com and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more episodes.